Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And I ended up creating a whole 15, 16-minute tangent that was supposed to be the new intro of this episode. So before I start back off on that, please listen to that one because I talk about some interesting things that will be individual story times, but also understand that, well, I started off talking about the pattern that a lot of Republicans, conservative patriarch, article, red pill, passport bros, a lot of them have a lot in common because a lot of them are so powerless and demeaning and awful, and they have put no effort into their lives, that the only thing they want to control or think they can control is a woman. Because since they have control in nothing else, since they keep telling me to get a hobby, I guess since I don't have a man, I don't have a hobby. I guess since I'm screenshotting the toxic, horrible, hateful, bigoted, stupid, uneducated, naive things from these guys, I must not have a hobby. And some of these men say that I must not be able to think for myself, even though before the election, like 3 years before the election, I said I will never date a MAGA, a 45 lover, or Republican. And guess what's happening now? Look what's happening now. It's crazy. These men keep saying I don't think for myself, but what I'm doing, and there's quite a few things that I'm doing that's now trending. And also the divorce rate. I just did an episode a few weeks ago talking about politics and divorce, because a lot of these men kept telling me I'm stupid because I'm not willing to date someone that is in another political party, when now divorce is going up pretty high because of political beliefs. And especially after he was voted in, after 45 was voted in, oh, women were running to the divorce department. They were just like, ooh, yes, for me now. So they're trying to make sure they can get divorced now before men try to take that right away. So, because, yeah, if they take that away, men have more power. Men can maintain that woman. And that's one reason why I do this channel. I'm almost done this time because, yeah, now I had to create the other one as a mini episode, but that's why I keep talking about this issue, because women, get your backup plan. Get your backup plan. Get a small job, part-time, like if you can start a business, if you're good at cooking, oh, especially if you're good at making bread, girl, get that bread while you make that bread. You know? Ooh, it's like, cause it's recently I was just like, ooh, I would love to make mashed potato rolls. It's like that's something my mom used to make every holiday, and so I've been kind of craving them. But I was like, part of me is like, you know what? If I can find someone on Etsy, because like I love promoting the small businesses. But yeah, ladies, if you're good at something, like, do it, because that gives you power, that gives you voice, that gives you your identity, not your full identity, but you know what I mean. Men want to be the only identity that you have, and their kids. But how come a lot of women, after like the housewives women, once their kids leave the house, depression rates are skyrocketing? Because those women put everything into their husband and their children, and now they have nothing in their spare time other than Netflix and cooking and naps or whatever, they have nothing. Maybe grocery shopping, they have nothing. So get a hobby, have some interests. Because I think a lot of these men on here, I think they hate that. I think some of them think maybe all I do is screenshot. They don't realize what I do with the screenshots. Some of them, they want to be on my wall. They don't know about the YouTube channel. They don't know that I post them on social medias. Yeah, I'm petty. I don't care. They don't know about that. Of course not. They don't realize that I'm taking power. They don't realize that a lot of these men, they say these awful things because they don't think anyone else is going to know. So they think that they control and be as vile, mean, obnoxious, and stupid and uneducated, and no one's going to know. And if I told you guys these things, and if I read these messages without showing you, would you believe me? Because I've had men not believe me. I've had men tell me I'm crazy. And I remember there was one guy who said I was crazy. So after I wanted nothing else to do with him, and about a year and a half later, he starts messaging me again. But I started collecting screenshots. So my response, I didn't text anything to him except I started sending him, I think 20 to 30 of the screenshots. And after, I think it took him about a half hour or an hour to absorb what was going on. And he apologized. Didn't mean much to me because so many people tried to like the doctors and my parents called me a liar all of my life with my disability. So it's like people don't understand when you call me a liar after everything I've been through, skip you, forget you. And one of them was looking me up and found my books on Amazon, and then they called me. Skip you too. So, anyways, I'm going to let you continue listening to part 1B. But I've just realized, like, it's not like I just realized, but I guess I'm realizing more how deprived of power these men. It's like, I don't know what kind of power they want, but while you watch 45 and the power he is able to contain, and how everybody believes the nonsense that comes out of his mouth. Just like Whoopi Goldberg says, get your popcorn. And I've got a recipe for popcorn too. It's like, I made some oil. It's like, once I get my books published and the greeting cards, and it's like I have about 20 streams of income of ideas. And I got to do one at a time because I can't afford, like, I'm trying to afford one of them right now. But I have made some oil that I put in rice. And a couple of days ago, I was just like, if this tastes amazing on a bagel and rice, and I tried this on so many pasta. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna put it in the macaroni and cheese. A few weeks ago I put this in my mac and cheese. It was amazing. So once I can get it going, and I'm gonna start sharing it with my friends and telling them, like, okay, here's a bottle, cook with it, let me know what you think. So I'm excited. And a lot of men, they hate that. They hate that a woman, like, I'm gonna let me start the episode before it gets too long. But for some reason, men keep calling me crazy. They keep telling me to get a hobby. They keep telling me to get, like, to submit. And they keep telling me that I'm dating the wrong party. Do you know how many? Yeah, I've shared so many screenshots. I know I must have shared somewhere. Some of the men literally tell me that I'm supposed to date the opposite of what I want because those men are going to be the ones that want me. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? I forgot which episode. I've shown so many screenshots and everything like that, but I know I've shown at least 4 or 5. There's over 30 men that have told me that as a woman, I am supposed to date the opposite because those are the men that are going to want me. And they're going to want me to change me. They're going to want me to take over. They're going to want me just because they want dominance and they want me to be submissive and obedient and all of the garbage I refuse to be. And it's like, I'm not calling you garbage, but for me, that's garbage. With my identity and who I am, that's garbage for me. I was not made to be that way. I should be allowed to be the individual that I was created to be, and it was not to be a submissive. Not at all. And if that's the reason I never marry, if that's the reason why no one ever loves me, at least I will love my life. My goal is to love my life and not change for some imbecile. Okay, enjoy. Do you know how infuriating it is? And I've said before, I think we're in the last episode in part 2, or part 2A, excuse me, part 2A. I said I'm going to create a series on the many reasons that I broke up with Mr. No Heart. Because I started writing a list down because I was trying to do some character development for my superhero novel. Or one of my I have like 3 superhero novels. So yeah, my first one. And I just realized that, I realized a lot, but I realized I had 40 reasons. 40 reasons why I broke up with him. And how he kept me trapped into the relationship because I was so scared of being single. Because since I walk the way I do, and then years later when I couldn't walk anymore, and then I was diagnosed with a disability, something where the doctors told me the pain was in my head, I was making it up, I just wanted attention. And so that caused me trauma, that caused my parents to, like, or my mother, well, both parents, but my mother mainly, to hurt me, like, traumatize me. I can't say certain words on YouTube because if I once I become monetized, they won't monetize this episode because of the word usage. But then when I dragged my feet or tripped over myself or something like that, next thing I know, my mother said she was going to throw me down the stairs, or that she in the winter time, she knew that I got cold really easily, so she would tell me to go outside without a jacket, and she would lock the door, and I would have to wait for her to open the door to come back in, and then tell her that I was being lazy, and that's the way I walked the way I did. So then, as I got older, I was told, as long as you walk like that, no one's ever going to want you, love you, or marry you. So many times that was always in my head. Whenever I saw a guy and whenever they were wanting my body, I just kind of got used to it. I realized no man is ever going to want me or love me. They're not going to want me, they're just going to want my body. I have to realize I'm never going to be good enough, but my body. It's like I'm one of those women that's never going to be of substance to any man. They don't, like, no man's ever going to authentically think I'm anything to think about. I am never going to measure up to what my twin sister is, who she is, what she stands for, her abilities. I am never going to be. I had to realize that, and I know it as a fact. So I know I will never get married. I know, like, I plan on adopting, and that's one reason I'm creating my YouTube channels. And I will not put them on. It's like, or if once they become adults, or even maybe 16, 17, and they tell me, it's like, 'cause I want them, like, if they want to be full-time YouTubers and stuff, I want them to watch what I do. And, like, as I learn, I want them to learn how to produce and create, because I want them to have, like, while they're going through college, like, I want them to figure out what's my goal, what's my plan, and have streams of income. So then if they want to do something, they can do it. They don't need to ask me. Because too much of my life I always had to ask, or I was being threatened that I was going to be kicked out of the house. So many times I was threatened to be kicked out of the house for publishing my children's books, and any of my books. I was I was going to be thrown out the house. So when it came to dating, and Mr. No Heart, every time he told me he was going to break up with me, I was so scared. I was so scared because that's all I had. I was so scared because I had nothing else. My parents didn't love me or care about me. My father pities me now, but is it love? No, it's pity. I have so many stories to prove my case. Some people are going to say, no. No. Buckle up, Buttercup. I have episodes you won't believe. But when I am going through all of this, especially getting diagnosed with a disability I was born with, when I'm in my 30s, when I was whooped, tormented, yelled at, when I was told that the only thing I would ever be good at is cleaning and being someone's maid. And the irony was, I busted my butt off and cleaned up around the house so my mother would never have to worry about anything, especially, well, I'll wait to tell that whole story. But I thought I was cleaning out of love, and I was cleaning because I felt bad for my mother, the same mother and I thought that maybe once she realized that I cared about her, once she realized that I was doing this all for her, that maybe one day she would finally accept me for me. But that never happened. And now it will never happen because she's dead. Because she's dead. She never apologized. And while she was making sure to tell me no one was ever going to love me, I was trying to hold on to Mr. No Heart. Because it took him 5 years to tell me he loved me, but he never loved me. He loved taking advantage of me. He loved taking my money. He loved being able to use me. That's what he loved. And he loved that I don't argue. He loved that I don't fight. He loved that I'm bubbly. And even when I disagreed with, I would leave him alone. When he would tell me that I was wrong, or slam his fist on his laptop table or whatever, or his gaming table. I didn't have time for games. I didn't have time for his nonsense. And he doesn't realize I didn't fight with him because I couldn't defend myself. I didn't fight with him because I was just like, okay, you're an idiot. I'm just going to let idiots be idiots. And that's one reason with the guys that I date, I need to date a Democrat, because he says he's a Democrat, but all of his family members are Republican. And he never defended me and helped me when his family came against me. Because before I would go up north to visit them, they would go through my Facebook and find as many things as they could, and then try to quiz me or debate me. But then they were shocked because, oh, this girl's a sapiosexual. When it comes to my expertise, politics, reading, documentaries, yeah, they messed with the wrong cookie. It got to the point where my ex told me I was not allowed to talk politics to his family again. It got to the point when I would make sure to, because they would always bring it up to me. I never brought it up to them. But it got to the point where they would wait for him to leave the basement, wait for him to leave the room, and then they would come to me one by one. And when he would finally come back into the room and I'm looking at him to help me, he would just leave. And when I would try to defend myself, that's when he would come in and be like, oh, no, no, you shouldn't. And I'm looking at him like, you saw when they came to me and you didn't defend me. You told me I'm not allowed to talk politics, but you saw how they were. And it was to the point where the last night, the last 2 nights, because I did it 2 nights. Once he left the room, I waited 5 minutes. I literally counted. I counted to 65 times. And then I went upstairs and I said, oh, I'll be back. And I gave some kind of excuse. And then I took out my laptop in the guest room. And then I started playing anime. And I remember, I think it was the second night, my ex's daughter was looking for me because one of the family members told her to find me. And when she found me, I was like, please don't tell them, please don't tell them. And she even asked me, because she caught on to what they were doing. And she asked me, why do they do this? And I was like, because they're trying to convert me into a Republican, and I refuse. And I think that they hate that they cannot convert me because they were already trying to convert me to country music. I've told parts of that story before, but it's like they were literally trying to change me to be who they wanted me to be. And a lot of conservative, and that's going to be one of the things I talk about next episode, actually. How come when I say I don't date Republican, MAGA, 45 loving men, people have the nerve to call me a bigot? People have the nerve to try to call me a racist. People try, or especially Republicans, try to tell me, what does politics have to do with dating? And see, I don't remember any of my titles offhand, but I think divorce is in the title. I did this one about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I showed articles about how, with the elections, how the divorce rate is increasing. And it's not funny, but it is kind of funny because there are so many times where I say something, show something, or even with my dating standards, men tell me I'm stupid. Men tell me I'm a waste. Men tell me that I will die alone and that I'm worthless because of my politics and because I will not date somebody who thinks politically different than me. But now all of these people are getting a divorce. All of these people are getting divorced, but then they blame me. They talk about me, they degrade me, they belittle me. They act like, but the thing is, they don't want me, they just want to sleep with me. They don't want me, they just like that I have a big chest and a big, backside. That's the only reason they want me. Some of them, they don't have a penny to their name, so they want my good credit and they want the pennies that I was able to invest. Because on my dating standards, I say you must have at least started, I repeat, started investments. Because do you know how many men that I've been out with, especially Republican men? Republican men tell me that investing is for white men or men, period, but then they don't invest. But then when I do invest, they put me down or tell me that's not my place, but then they want to borrow the money that I have gained from the investments. Oh yeah, so I must be worthless until you need to borrow. I must be pitiful until you need my credit score. But then a lot of these men, they want to take default divorce out, but then when they date, they only want to date based off body parts. They don't want to date off of mental and thought and opinion, because they don't want women to have opinions. Some of these men out here want to take our right to vote away. They want the power. They don't want us to have an opinion. They wanted us to be submissive, to be quiet and shut up. And that's one reason a lot of these men hate me, because I will never shut up. And that's why I can't find a man that is willing to handle me, because I'm not going to be one of those. Not That's the thing. I'm a very bubbly person, but when you start acting stupid, when you start acting crazy, nonsensical, ignorant, bigoted, that's when you're going to hear me. That's when I'm not going to be quiet. And I can be gentle, but you got to be worth being gentle for. You got to show me that you got some brain cells, and brain cells that work. You've got to show me that you've got some mental stability. You have to show me that you have some passion in something, and that you're just not a lazy piece of because a lot of the men hate me because of my dating standards, but that's because I've lived a life. That's because I've dated so many men that have told me or belittled me, either that I've wasted my time in college, that I was supposed to only focus on having babies, or that the only reason they want to date me is because I don't have kids, but then they do have baby mothers and they have kids and they expect me to take care of their kids. And I've dated men who had kids, and I learned the hard way that they just want me to be the babysitter that they could sleep with. They either want the babysitter they can sleep with, the mother figure that they can sleep with, or the nanny that, guess what, they can sleep with. They don't care about me. They don't care about my projects. They don't care about my goals. They don't care about the things that I want to achieve in life. And the things that I have achieved, a lot of them tell me it's just because I'm a woman. It's just because I'm black. That's the only reason you got where you're at. But then they're the ones who dropped out. They dropped out of college or their jobs or opportunities, and they gave up. They said they were too old. That was their fault. But I'll continue this on a different day. This is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. I'm going to have part 2 of this, as well as talk about book talk, education, and yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is a totally different video than I planned. Take care.